Let me tell you something you probably won't hear from your local bank manager. A secret that could change the entire trajectory of your financial future if you're paying attention to the Iraqi Dinar or the Vietnamese Dong. What if I told you that while everyone is endlessly scrolling through forums and speculative news sites, the real, tangible, actionable information about which US banks are actually handling these currencies isn't found in a viral post, but in the quiet, unassuming policies of a handful of financial institutions that most people are completely overlooking? The landscape has shifted dramatically and quietly while everyone was distracted by the noise. The dream of exchanging these currencies isn't a fantasy, but the path to doing it is shrouded in so much misinformation that most people give up before they even make a single phone call. I'm going to cut through that noise for you right now. The absolute key, the fundamental truth you must internalize before we go any further, is that no single bank has a universal, nationwide policy that applies to every single one of its branches when it comes to exotic currencies like the Vietnamese Dong or the Iraqi Dinar. This is the critical piece that 99% of speculators get wrong, and it's why they fail. The ability to exchange these currencies is not dictated by the bank's name on the building. It is dictated by the specific branch's location, the volume of international business it handles, the expertise of its head teller or vault manager, and most importantly, whether that specific branch has a business relationship with a foreign currency wholesaler who can handle the logistical nightmare of dealing with these less common notes. Think of it this way. A Chase Bank in a small town in Nebraska might look at you like you have two heads if you walk in with a stack of Vietnamese Dong, but a Chase branch in the heart of Los Angeles' Koreatown or next to a major international airport that services flights to Southeast Asia might do it as a routine service. The difference is clientele and necessity. Banks are businesses, first and foremost. They provide services that their customers demand. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is not to find a bank, but to find a branch. And how do you do that? You start with the biggest players in the international finance game. The usual suspects, the banks with the most robust global operations, are your best starting point. We are talking about institutions like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and Citibank. These are the giants with the infrastructure. Specifically, Wells Fargo has been known, at certain designated branches, often called financial centers or foreign currency hubs, to hold Vietnamese Dong in their vaults for buy and sell transactions. They don't advertise this widely, but if you call their dedicated foreign currency desk, a real, live person can often tell you if there is a branch within a reasonable distance from you that can perform the transaction. It's not just about them having it, it's about the process. You cannot, I repeat, cannot walk into any random branch with a briefcase full of Dong and expect a smooth transaction. The process is almost always a pre-order and appointment-based system. You call the branch that offers the service, you tell them the exact amount of US dollars you wish to convert, they give you a quote based on their wholesale rate plus a service fee, they order the currency, and you come in a few days later to complete the transaction. The same meticulous process applies if you are selling Dong back to them. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the Iraqi Dinar. This is an even more specialized and challenging endeavor. The regulatory and compliance hurdles for a US bank to handle Iraqi Dinar are significantly higher due to ongoing international sanctions, money laundering concerns, and the simple fact that its physical security features are a primary concern for fraud detection. It is exponentially rarer to find a US bank that will touch the Iraqi Dinar compared to the Vietnamese Dong. Your search for the dinar will likely lead you to even more specialized currency dealers, but the bank path is not entirely closed. Again, it comes down to specific, high-volume international branches. Some users have reported success with specific Bank of America branches in major metropolitan areas like New York City or Washington, D.C., areas with a high concentration of diplomatic and international business traffic. The key is persistence and precise questioning. You don't ask, "Do you exchange currency?" That will get you a yes for euros and pounds. You must be specific. I would like to know if this specific branch facilitates the purchase or sale of Iraqi Dinar physical banknotes and what the pre-order process entails. This level of specificity separates the serious investor from the casual caller. The information is out there, but it requires work, and that work is what we are doing right here. right now to separate the real opportunity from the internet fiction. Now, this is just the foundation, the absolute bedrock of understanding you need before you even think about picking up the phone. I have only just begun to scratch the surface of which specific branch codes to look for and the exact phone scripts to use that will get you past the first-level customer service rep and directly to the person who can actually help you. If you want me to do that deep dive for you, to give you the names of the specific banks and the strategies that are working right now, then you need to do two things for me. First, smash that like button on this video right now. That tells the YouTube algorithm that this is real, valuable information that should be seen by every serious currency watcher. And second, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because in the next part of this video, I'm going to reveal the one US bank that, against all odds, has been consistently processing Iraqi Dinar exchanges through a little-known internal program, and you are not going to want to miss that crucial intelligence. Stay tuned, because we are just getting started. So you understand the foundational principle that this is a branch-by-branch game, not a simple bank-by-bank one. Now, let's get into the gritty, tactical details that will form your actual game plan. Let's start by diving deeper into the Vietnamese Dong, because this is where you have the highest probability of immediate, tangible success. The narrative that no US banks handle Dong is a myth, but it's a myth perpetuated by people who called one or two local branches, got a no, and gave up. Your strategy must be more sophisticated. You need to target banks that are physically located in or near what are known as international banking districts, or within communities with a large Vietnamese diaspora. Think Orange County in California, parts of Texas like Houston, or Northern Virginia. In these areas, the demand for the currency isn't speculative, it's practical. It's for families sending money back home, for business people importing goods, for travelers. This practical, legitimate demand is what creates the infrastructure that you, as an investor, can leverage. Now, let's talk about Wells Fargo in more concrete terms. They have a service listed on their website called Foreign Currency Order. This service allows you to order over 70 currencies for pickup at a designated branch. Vietnamese Dong is on that list. But here is the critical nuance that makes all the difference. Just because it's on the list does not mean every Wells Fargo branch can or will do it. The online order system is linked to specific, larger branches that have the vault capacity and the relationship with the currency wholesaler. So, your first practical step should be to go to the Wells Fargo website, navigate to their foreign currency page, and use their online ordering tool. You don't have to complete the order, but you can input the amount of Dong you wish to buy and see if it offers you a branch for pickup within a reasonable distance from your zip code. If it does, that is your target. That branch has been pre-verified by the system as being capable of handling the transaction. This is a far more reliable method than cold calling random branches. Now, what about walking in with Dong to sell? This is a harder proposition, but again, not impossible. The branches that can order currency for you to buy are often the same ones that can handle the reverse transaction, but it is never a guarantee. They will need to verify the authenticity of your notes, which requires them to have the proper security equipment for that specific currency, and they will need to have a buy order from their wholesaler. This is why building a relationship with the financial manager or head teller at one of these identified branches is so crucial. You are no longer a random person with a strange request. You are a client who is engaging in a known, albeit specialized, service. Shifting gears to the Iraqi Dinar, we are now operating in a completely different, far more complex league. The challenges are not merely logistical, they are profoundly regulatory. U.S. banks operate under intense scrutiny from the Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC. And while the Iraqi dinar is not under comprehensive sanctions, any financial transaction involving Iraq is viewed through a high-risk lens due to concerns about money laundering and terrorist financing. This means the compliance officer at any bank, even one that is technically capable, might veto the transaction simply to avoid the extensive paperwork and regulatory risk. So, the banks that do handle dinar are not just large. They are fortress-like in their compliance departments, and they typically only service this need for established commercial clients with a demonstrable business purpose in Iraq. This is where the reports of success with certain Bank of America branches come from. These are not your standard retail branches. They are flagship branches in financial hubs like New York, Los Angeles, or Miami that cater to ultra-high net worth individuals and international corporations. If you walk into a standard branch, you will be turned away. Your approach must be different. Your first point of contact should not be the teller line. It should be the platform for preferred rewards, clients, or the business banking division. You are seeking a relationship manager, not a teller. You explain your situation not as a speculative investment, but as a need related to a potential business venture, asset acquisition, or debt settlement in Iraq. You must present a legitimate, compliance-friendly reason for the transaction. The conversation is different. It's about your portfolio, your business, and your long-term relationship with the bank. They are not just exchanging currency, they are providing a specialized service to a valuable client. This path is not for the faint of heart and almost certainly requires you to already be a significant client of the bank. Beyond the megabanks, your search may lead you to specialized institutions that act as bridges between the US and the Middle East. These are not retail banks you see on every corner. They are often located in places like Dearborn, Michigan, or parts of New Jersey with names you might not recognize. They serve a specific ethnic and business community and have the licenses and relationships to deal in currencies like the dinar. Finding them requires on-the-ground networking and deep research within those specific communities. The information is not readily available online because these institutions value their privacy and do not wish to be flooded with calls from speculators. This is the reality of the dinar hunt. It is a professional's game, requiring a level of dedication and sophistication that goes far beyond a simple phone call, and understanding the stark difference between the dong and the dinar is what will save you an immense amount of time and frustration. Now that we've navigated the complex realities of both the Vietnamese Dong and the Iraqi Dinar within the traditional US banking system, we arrive at the most critical part of our discussion, the landscape beyond the bank and the crucial, non-negotiable steps you must take to protect yourself in this high-stakes environment. Because the truth is, for every legitimate pathway we've discussed, there are a dozen shadowy operators waiting to exploit your hope and your capital. Let's talk about the digital frontier first. In your search, you will inevitably come across online platforms and peer-to-peer marketplaces that claim to facilitate these exotic currency exchanges. They promise convenience, better rates, and access from the comfort of your home. You must exercise extreme caution here. While the world of fintech is evolving, the market for currencies like the dong and dinar is largely unregulated on these platforms, making it a breeding ground for sophisticated scams. The risks are multifaceted. First, there's the risk of outright fraud. You send your money or your currency and receive nothing in return. Second, and more insidious, is the risk of receiving counterfeit notes. The quality of counterfeit Vietnamese dong and Iraqi dinar has become frighteningly good enough to fool a standard bank teller who isn't a specialist in those specific currencies. If you try to deposit counterfeit notes you acquired online into a US bank, you will not only lose the entire value, but you could also face a serious investigation for passing counterfeit currency, a federal offense. This is why the physical, branch-based verification process of a major bank, while cumbersome, offers a layer of protection that an anonymous online transaction simply cannot. Your third risk on digital platforms is price manipulation. You may see a rate that looks too good to be true, and it almost certainly is. It's often a bait-and-switch tactic to get your contact information, after which you'll be pressured into a much worse deal, or it's a method to launder money through your account, implicating you in a federal crime without your knowledge. So, the rule is simple. If you are not dealing with a physical, verifiable branch of a well-known US bank or an established, brick-and-mortar currency dealer with a decades-long reputation, you are taking a monumental risk with your capital. But let's say you do find a physical, specialized currency dealer. How do you vet them? Your due diligence must be exhaustive. They should be registered with the US Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, as a money services business (MSB). You can and should verify this registration. They should have a verifiable physical address, not just a P.O. box, and you should be able to find a history of their business through the Better Business Bureau and state business licensing authorities. You should call them and ask pointed questions about their sourcing, their authentication process, and their insurance policies. A legitimate dealer will be transparent about these things. A scam artist will become evasive or aggressive. Furthermore, you must become a student of the physical currency itself. Before you ever accept a stack of Dong or Dinar, you need to know its security features by heart. The feel of the paper, the raised printing, the watermarks, the security threads, the color-shifting ink, and the microprinting. Go to the official websites of the State Bank of Vietnam and the Central Bank of Iraq and study the high-resolution images of their legitimate notes. Your ability to spot a fake is your last line of defense. This entire endeavor, from calling bank branches to inspecting security threads, is a test of your diligence. It separates the serious individual who treats this as a strategic financial maneuver from the hopeful speculator who is simply gambling on a dream. The information is available, the pathways do exist, but they are paved with responsibility, skepticism, and an immense amount of personal effort. The opportunity is real, but it is guarded by a fortress of complexity and risk that you must be fully prepared to navigate with your eyes wide open, understanding that in this market, the greatest asset you have is not your capital, but your knowledge and your patience. This journey into the world of exotic currencies is complex, but you don't have to navigate it alone. I've laid out the foundational map for you, from targeting the right bank branches to understanding the severe risks of the digital Wild West. But this is just the beginning. The specific names of those specialized currency dealers, the exact script to use when you call a Bank of America relationship manager, the live demonstration of how to spot a counterfeit Vietnamese Dong note. That is the next level of intelligence, and I am ready to share it all with you, my dedicated community. So, if you found this deep dive valuable, if you feel that for the first time, someone has given you the unvarnished truth about this process, then I need you to take action. Go down into the comments section right now and tell me what you want to see next. Do you want a full video dissecting the security features of the new Iraqi Dinar notes? Or do you want a direct interview with a currency wholesaler? Your input will directly shape our next investigation. And most importantly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. By subscribing, you are not just getting more videos. You are becoming part of an informed inner circle that gets this critical information first. We are cutting through the misinformation together. The next video is already in the works, and it's a game changer you will not see anywhere else. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and I will see you in the next one.